over on YouTube. Crack a cold one. Do a little salute to the concept of Phantasy Star. And let's turn down the Phantasy Star Online OST a little bit. Let me make sure I'm live on YouTube. I am. There we go. But yeah, can you believe that fool got blasted literally while he was lying about crime statistics and being like, do we count gang violence? Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Wow. Just thinking about it, smiling a little bit. Wow, couldn't happen to a better guy, man. Oh, delightful, dude. All right, well, hey, everybody. Welcome on in. I need to continue my writing about these games. Let me go ahead and pull up the text form for me. And, hi. This is 50 of the worst games ever made. We're gonna review them. Starting off with more like Ren and Stinky. Oh man, Ren and Stimpy, really rough stuff here. Worst bits, inscrutable stage design, platforms really unclear. There were a lot of segments, particularly at the end of stage 1, I think it was, where you're like climbing this big recording tower thing, and it is so hard to figure out both where you're supposed to be going and what is and is not a platform. Really rough stuff there. Hitboxes are agonizingly tight. There's a lot of times you have to barely walk underneath a thing and you just barely clear it. Movement is really slow. Feels very bad at all stages. You have an attack. It's pretty useless. Yeah, the big like server room is what I was thinking of just like where it was so confounding where we needed to go. Yeah, just about everything hurts you, including things that are wild as hell. A button on a control panel is a great example, I think, of something that would make you go, there's no way that hurts me. It's a button. It's a button. Extra life game is literal coin flip. Sucks, man. No fun, no input. Really rough stuff there. Incredibly short. Really, again, we count incredibly short as a negative here. You are not getting credit for the rest of my life. Finishing a game quickly and letting me return to the rest of my life just means the rest of my life is pretty good. It doesn't mean that this game is good. Being short is not a benefit. And this one is like incredibly short. To the point you gotta assume some of the difficulty comes from a place of needing to extend playtime. Yeah, one song, not a banger. So much of it, holy smokes. I do not personally find anything about Ren and or Stimpy funny and or entertaining. So I don't even get to look at the despicable red one and smile. Really rough stuff. The good. Oh man. Oh, I should add, feels like it's lagging all over. Some stages projectiles are borderline unavoidable. You get stuff coming in that's just like you would have needed to have jumped in advance. What could I say is good about this? I feel like it's legitimately just like nothing. Because the enemies were nonsensical, so like the aesthetic wasn't cohesive, so I can't even say like they did a good job doing the show. All the level design was ranging between like confounding, boring, bad. I'm like legitimately thinking so hard about what could I say positive about Ren and Stimpy. I like don't know if there's anything. Yeah, I'll just say like NA. It's so boring. Like, really punishing, feels bad every step of the way, and is just baffling at best. It really does have nothing going for it. I think this is one of the games that's like the most deeply I got nothing to say about this that's good. Yeah, you can't buy it anymore. That's good. Maybe? Is it? All right, next game. Yeah, let's just get this one out of the way too. Batman Forever for the Game Boy. Let me grab some footage of that. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Thank you for the reason. Windows back in order. Yeah. This. Oh man, Batman Forever. This game sucked. Yeah, this is PSO music. Yeah, I think the worst bits really does have to go to the controls and inputs for special moves. Mandatory. I think that's important to highlight. God, because what was it specifically? It was that you had to go to neutral between everything. So it was like down neutral, forward neutral. Yeah, it was like forward neutral, down neutral, and then button. You have to return to neutral between each direction and before the button press. leading to things like 6525B as a, or no, yes, yeah, 6525B as the mandatory input to grappling hook up. Down, up is a super jump that is also mandatory for traversal, but leaves you completely inactionable. This feels bad, especially when you do it on accident. This is really rough. So like that super jump, you float for so long in the air, like you are hanging there for a grip and a half, and you can't do anything the entire time. Every stage is just beat up 100 dudes and figure out where we want you to end up at. This really is what every single stage is just go in. So was there any explanations? No, there weren't. I looked at the manual, I pulled it up during it too. It said things like forward, down, and a button were the thing, but it just said forward, down. It doesn't say forward, neutral, down, neutral, then button. That's what's insane about it. It's not that it's like one of them is like the difference between down, right, right, which is a quarter circle forward, like a Hadouken, and down, neutral, forward, neutral button is a universe of difference, and the only like change it explained was just like down for it, like it just said 2-6 button, which is wildly incomplete. The neutral inputs are really what makes that so fucking bizarre. And yeah, like I mean, I don't think it make more sense that it's on since it's on a Game Boy. The Game Boy had all sorts of things with like normal controls. Like it's just a D-pad. You don't have to do crazy shit with it. You don't have to do very bizarre inputs. So this is off of the Mortal Kombat engine. Enemies love to go invincible through random frame 1 YOLO uppercuts or sweeps. It feels very bad and is very repetitive and dull. Most of the challenge comes from a non-stop war of attrition as you receive almost no resources over the course of the game. It feels like you didn't get anything. Music sucks ass. Part of the reason I wanted to get the Game Boys out of the way is because the music in the Game Boy games was so boring that I was like, we can just play Phantasy Star. Because here, let me unmute it for a second. Yeah, God, it's so boring. Positives, I do have, enemy names were great. They were named things like Brumpin and like Clunch. Like, they were just like really solid names, on the guys. Love those. Other things that I think were good, the hover into an air button feels kinda alright to do and is pretty oppressive. Thank God. It was like the one saving grace. Until people just started like, you know, frame one sweeping and going under every air button I did and being invincible, which is also part of the reason it's like so boring. I'm trying to think of like any other really big things. Like, I think it really was the inputs for the tools were crazy. Levels were just really long, a lot of wandering around, punching a bunch of guys. Because the thing is, it did have, and I'm kind of like 50-50 on if this particular genre counts, but it kind of did collect the nuggies and or uncertain win con. Just, it was, you had to find guys. There was a lot of, I have to go find a guy somewhere and kick him, and then I go back to the place where the level ends, and now the level ends. I feel like that counts. I feel like that is a lot of wander around fun. It just happens to be, instead of a thing that pops out of a man, it's the man. And there's like no indicator on how many you need, things of that nature. So I'm gonna say that's an uncertain win con. Yeah, it's a lot like Adamantium Rage in that way. Oh, there is one other thing that I legitimately like about this game. Hilariously good block on the worst input imaginable. The bat tanuki, bat tanuki, bat statue, bat urn, is a fully intangible thing on frame one and seems to have zero recovery. In exchange, the input is select plus B on the Game Boy. Which anyone who's played a Game Boy is like, what? Like the select button, bro. It's so good. Oh man. Like, it's not even just that they suck, it's that their position is like so bad. Like, you have to use your left hand. You have to let go of the D-pad to do it. Yeah, it's wild. So yeah, you both have 6525 button. Then you also have things like, because also the other thing I should highlight, and I'll add this a little bit above. You also have 236B and 2565B as two distinct options, which is crazy. So that means a quarter circle forward and down, let go, forward, let go button are two different things, which no one does for like a really good reason. Yes, Lio, it's really funny because like in the fighting game community, there's a lot of discussion of like, sometimes you're allowed to have a thing that's really messed up if it's gated by execution. And some people really don't like that, and other people like kind of salute it as like that this is part of the genre. It's part and parcel with the damn thing. It's kind of like how, you know, drawing lands is part of magic. It's part of the beautiful game. Sometimes it sucks a lot, but it's part of the beautiful game. And I think even those people, myself included, would be like, don't put something on select and B, don't do that. Actually, shit, wasn't there? Right, so this actually was relevant in Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. That's what I was trying to piece it together. There was a thing in Street Fighter 4 where you could do a plinked input to give you 2 attempts to hit a 1-frame link. Because there were a couple attacks in Street Fighter 4 that were either 2-frame or 1-frame links, meaning you have either 1 or 2/60ths of a second window to hit them correctly. This shit is hard. It's capital H hard as hell. A thing they would do to make them more possible was if you hit a lower button before it and then a higher button. So like if you were trying to link a heavy, you could hit medium heavy real quick, like back to back, and it essentially would give you 2 attempts to hit that window. Because if you hit it with the medium and then hit the heavy, it would like swap it over to the heavy because the heavy took priority, right? The thing is, a lot of these links needed to be done with the light button, so, you know, kind of bad luck there, right? Like, what are you gonna do? There's no button that's lower than light. Until some real fucking sickos in Japan figured out that for some reason the game would accept the select button and then light and count that as a plink input. So you had Japanese players who were rewiring their sticks so that they had access to the select button on top so that they could plink select light, and it would give them the 2 attempts to hit the 1 frame window. Yeah, there was a thing, because that was something that was like hotly debated for a while, is like, should it be allowed to wire your select button up there? And honestly, if we're talking about like that versus like hitboxes, honestly, like I think there's a better case for that than hitboxes. Yeah, Street Fighter 4 was like a game defined by its 1 and 2 frame links. So having those be, you know, more than twice as consistent, because the thing about hitting a 1 or 2 frame window is like, you can get really consistent at hitting a 3 or 4 frame window. You can get pretty impressively consistent at hitting a 2 frame window. 1 frame, it's like, even if you're really, really on, there's gonna be a lot of drops. And increasing that window when you press 2 buttons is like, instead of it being a 2 frame window, it's now like a 4 frame window functionally, because you have so much wider of a acceptable input. Yeah, either way, crazy thing to think about. There's a reason we don't use the select button a lot in games. They call it the select button, but what are you selecting? Yeah, truthfully. All right, well, that's my thoughts and feelings on Batman Forever for the James Boy. Oh, what game? You know what? Let's just knock out the Game Boy. Let's just get the Game Boy done, because these should be pretty quick. It was Bart Simpson's Escape from Camp Deadly. Man. God, you want to talk about a game that was insanely stinky. Let me get a long play up of this. Thank you, Nintendo Complete. I love the framing you do with these. I think it's delightful. All right. The worst bits of Bart Camp Deadly. Man. Hit stop. Massive. Whenever you get hit, to pause the game and go, wow. You did bad. I'm Bart, and I'm injured. You have injured Bart. Which, it's so annoying. Like, the fact that it takes control away from you to go, eat my shorts, man. It sucks. It feels bad in like every way imaginable. Unclear platforms, things fall out from under you with some regularity. You can shoot the power-ups. Lisa. Which I don't love. I don't love that you can shoot Lisa and lose a power-up. Boomerangs are strong, but you can lose them. Losing them before a boss fight means you're in for quite a grind. You are there for so long, man. Yeah, enemies respawn and come in swinging so fast and so frequently. There was like never a moment where you weren't getting attacked constantly. The music is a big fat nothing. Extremely powerful. Then the game just kind of stops all at once. Doesn't look particularly Simpsons. This is another complaint I have with Simpsons wrestling, is just like, I don't think it makes me think about Simpsons. I don't play this game and fondly think of Simpson. I don't go like, I desire to watch Lisa play saxophone. Like, it's just not on the menu, you know? I think this was like a season 1 or 2. This was a rushed out in the early years thing for sure. So that is like a big part of why. Yeah. Which is also why you get the weird, they only had Mr. Burns as an antagonist. So every antagonist is like Mr. Burns, but Scottish. Or in this case, Mr. Burns, but a camp counselor. Or, unfortunately, sometimes they would do things like Mr. Burns, but he's Chinese. But they stopped doing that, which is good. That's like, that's good. Yeah, they really were like ripping them out in the early Simpsons years. Oh, man. Things that are good. My friend Tina found it very funny when the Bart made me suffer. I think that's good. You know, I like making my friends happy, so that's cool. Oh, you know what? In the bad, I should add repeat segments that are only differentiated by having way more guys. The lunch cafeteria segments in particular were like really rough about this, where you would be doing the same thing 4 times in a row. Yeah, the cafeteria part sucked. It was like you had to keep attacking to clear out everybody in front of you, but if you reacted to the wrong guy and like threw a thing, they would be like, hey, give me all your ammunition. And then you had to walk forward and just get shot like 7 times. There were times I genuinely thought you were looping. Yeah, easy mistake to make, because there were so many parts that were just the same, like the woods again, the woods a 3rd time. Oh yeah, that reminds me, the bees. The bees are so crazy. There were bees with hitboxes that would find you. Yeah, I gotta give it up for the bees. The bees were something else. Yeah, I think that's most of what I gotta say about Bart game. Okay, and that was all of the original Game Boy games. Oh man, this is one that I think I have more to say than I expected. This was a game that I knew was going to be bad, and I was so blown away by everything I had managed to like memory hole about this game, man. I was, oh holy shit. Let me get some gameplay footage. Yeah, like on the list of games that I went from being like, well, this kind of sucks, to being like, I hate this game, dude. I think this was pretty high on that list. Really caught me off guard. This one really sucks. I really think this is like highlight note worthy of Jesus, this game was bad. This is definitely one of the ones that is like the peak of games I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies. Yeah, so immediate things I want to get into. Let me go over to the paper on the right side of the screen. Collect the nuggies. This game defined it. Uncertain win cons. This game defined it, dude. This game defined it. Yeah, let's codify that a little bit. This game defines unclear win con, and collect nuggies. Every single stage has a selection of collectibles. You need to pick up a certain amount of them to finish the stage. How many do you need? Great question. Will the game tell you? No. Seriously? Yes. There's 4 colors of goodie, and you need a minimum of each. It's a pain. Yeah, the game will literally tell you, well done, and this should be plenty of DNA. And then send you back to the world map to do the level again. Unhinged. Like, that really is one of the wildest things to me, is just, there's 4 colors of collectible, you need a certain number of each, and it just doesn't tell you. Like, any other game would at the very least do you the decency of, like, when you collected 6 blue DNA and it was all you needed, it would like change to green, and then when you got all of them, it would change to like gold or something. Like, you know, there'd be some tell. And this game really doesn't do that. Layer based platformer, as derogatory as possible. This. Oof. You have both a jump and a change lanes. What? Oh, I need to start tightening it up. What items are in which lane is really hard to distinguish, if not just impossible quite often. That you really cannot tell when it is a flat 2D sprite of like a circle that's just twinkling in the air. Is it lower to the ground and in the foreground, or is it slightly higher in the ground and in the on the other side? It's rough. It's hard to explain how bad it feels. You'll jump in front of an item and nothing happens. A lot. That is really one of the most agonizing things about this, is how often you will jump, clearly touch an item, and just nothing happens. Oh man, the mini game, DM, at the end of every goddamn level is a mandatory mini game where you line up what are essentially invisible shots to fill in voids. There is no guideline, and the shots are maybe 3 or 4 pixels wide. Man, it's really rough on this. Timed pretty aggressively later on. Things attack you and are very hard to see and also dodge. One hit, start over, as in the whole level. Do it again. This is really the part that makes it go from buck wild to how did anyone allow this to go through. Is if you got shot by one random thing in the back, you had to start the whole thing over. Yeah, this video preview you're looking at is bigger and brighter than the Game Boy Advance, and it still is pretty outrageous. Let me see if I can skip to one of the later shooting segments here. So yeah, you see how it's like coming down at them pretty quickly, and there's a bunch of pink thing. Yeah, see how close those are coming? If any of those hit you, you have to do the whole level again. And you have limited ammunition as well. You have limited ammo based on what you picked up. The final gauntlet is absolutely insane. Run away from endless projectiles for a huge amount of time while dodging a terrible boss. Man, that finale was so bad too. Let me see if I can find some footage of that finale. Yeah, here we go. So the final boss was like this huge 2-part thing of this dinosaur comes from the side of the screen, and when he does, he lunges forward and covers, I would say, like about 70% of the horizontal space. The problem being, if you go too far over and don't immediately retreat to the other side. Let me get to some of the side swapping. Yeah, very cool. It'll hit you, and when he hits you, it does, I think, over half, something like that. So this is like the first half of this stage is run away from this guy for 1,000 years. And yeah, so this is the other funny trick he does, and why I'm thinking this long play is using cheat codes at this point, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, you would have gotten hit there. The guy just teleports to the other side if you're too close. Oh no, maybe not. Okay, they found a really lucky spot on the hitbox, I suppose. Yeah, this will happen though. This does happen where you get smoked to death. Very cool. So after you do this whole segment, you immediately have to do this. And if you fail this, it sends you back to the beginning of the boss fight. You are running away from 1 million guys as they launch missiles at you. Any missile does, I think it was like 70% of your life bar. So you get 2. or you get one, and then the second one kills you. And the main thing is it's not too outwardly brutal. The thing that makes it brutal is, let's see, this segment starts at 5640. Okay, and it goes until about 5820. It's so long, it is almost 2 minutes long of you get one mistake on a very slow auto platformer dealy here. Oh, it's so bad, and it's so punishing, and yeah, the ending is buns, as you would expect. Man, this game sucks. If I was like doing Cursed 50 and I wanted it to be a game that was like legitimately like agonizing to play, like I did it with full intention to make someone have a bad time, it would be this, and I would insist they did it without save states or anything. Cause man, this game is buns, and it's really mean buns too. It's like vicious. And then yeah, the ending is just none of it mattered. Ain't none of this matters, fireman. I'm just not even gonna pretend. I'm not gonna write the good underneath it, because there was none. This game was vile. Like, a lot of games are bad, and it's a little unclear how it happened. This game, it's like, they made so many choices that I can only describe as like intentionally cruel, like really mean. Yeah, you know what? Let's knock this one out of the way. Because this one, on the other hand, is going to be very short. Once I find the right... I have to find not the Xbox version. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's unmute that. Yeah. Yeah. Ford Racing 3. GBA. Worst bits. They put a 3D racing game on the GBA. They probably should not have done that.
Welcome to Ford Racing 3.
Like, I don't know, man. This one's like not really complicated. It's just like they tried to do something that the hardware could not do. Music is pretty bad. Courses are really bizarre. That's actually a thing I should mention. Course design is unclear, even considering the texture quality. There were a handful of spots they wanted me to fully abandon the road I was driving on, to jump across some grass and start driving on another road. Not indicated in any way. That was really, really brutal. Did the long player turn off the music? Oh, what a pussy. Hold on, let me get the real stuff. Give me the real stuff. I want that audio. I want recordings of Ford Racing 3. I want them on my desk, Spider-Man. Hell yeah, dude. There we go. Very ugly game. Opponent cars regularly rendered onto the wrong layer. This is really visually jarring whenever it happens, but to be clear, you'll see one of the other cars like turn around a corner and go behind a mountain, but instead you see it in front of the mountain, as though someone took a shot of what you were looking at and then messed up and put your opponent's car like layer on the top layer of the Photoshop of real life. X-ray mountains. Not a great feel. So this game suffered a lot from, I don't think there was a single speed where I felt it was good. A lot of racing games will feel very bad when you're going very slow, but that's okay because the goal is to not do that. This game felt really bad at high speed, and it felt really bad at mid speed, and it also felt bad when you were slow, in different ways too. You would go slip sliding away sometimes at like really low speeds. Yeah, unfun at every speed. Oh yeah, makes a great argument for the necessity of comeback mechanics in kart racers. I find this to be a negative because I think the obscene comeback items like blue shells are kind of annoying. But boy howdy, this game really makes you understand like, oh, that's why they have those in there. Because otherwise, if someone's like one statistical deviation better than the rest of them, they just don't get to do anything for the whole game. Easy problem to have come up. Comes up in like badminton a whole lot, where a badminton, like a very, very small skill gap in badminton will turn into just a fully one-sided game. This game has a lot of that, but since you're only playing against computers, it's not even like satisfying to smoke them. It's not like when you're like the one person in the Mario Kart lobby who like knows shit and you like smoke everyone, and at the end they're like, wow, that was pretty rad. You don't get that. You get, wow, 30 seconds ahead of CPU 1. But yeah, this game really does make an argument for you need those. Also, every course feels the same. The cars feel largely identical. There's like no variation between the vehicles. You go from a car that goes kind of slow to 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 a car that goes kind of slow. Like none of them feel good. They all feel like they slide the same amount. Yeah, like look at this. This is with the speedometer maxed out. It looks like they're going maybe like 30. This is the kind of like racing footage I would expect from like Garbage Time on YouTube, like racing their nuggets, like racing like a really shitty little like 2-cylinder car. That's the kind of speeds you're getting here. Yeah, not a huge fan of this one. That's kind of all I gotta say about Ford Racing 3. It just really was like the most boring a racing game can be. I'm glad we got this one because there was a lot of like very similar games on the Game Boy Advance, like games that are similar games on like the SNES in particular that are like racing games they probably shouldn't have done yet. But I think this was a great example of like a really rushed one, because for those of you who don't know, Ford Racing was like a franchise that appeared on consoles. Like I think Ford Racing 1 and 2 were on PlayStation 2, and then Ford Racing 3 was like 360 PS3 era. And they just were like, we also need a Game Boy one. And they went, what? And they said, we also need a Game Boy one. And they went, what? And so they made one, and that's what this is. So this is like this is the shovelware tie-in to a shovelware tie-in product. And holy smokes, does it feel that way every step of the way. And yeah, did we get one of the really weird switchovers here? Yeah, very cool. This one at the very least has like signs at the end. A lot of them don't. A lot of them just didn't even have this much going for them. And yeah, they just want you to just hop across them, just drive across them through grass. It's fine. Just drive across that. Just go. Ugh. Brutal stuff. Did not like this game. Emphatically did not enjoy my time with Ford Racing 3. In 1 sec, I'm checking to make sure I've not done one of them yet. Okay, great. Let me pull some of that up real quick. Perfect. This game, I got to say breast wrestler whenever it came up, and that was the good part of Beast Wrestler. Genesis. God, I hated this game, man. Worst bits. Another wrestling fighting hybrid that really sucks ass at both halves. This game was trying to be a fighting game, it was trying to be a wrestling game, and it did neither. It did neither even a little bit. I'll even just get the good out of the way. Some of the monster designs are kind of slick. You can tell the monster designs were made by someone who knows what they're doing. Everything else, garbo. Yeah, also trying to be a monster raising game, but that side is 99% irrelevant. Because the stat gains you were getting were like nothing for the most part. They were really bad. Like the extra stat bonuses you got would be the equivalent of you get like punched once more in the entire round. Combat system is really boring. You have a few strikes and a like I guess super is, I'll say a super move that charges up. The goal of the game is to get that charged and hit someone with it. Like many games with this mechanic, it becomes 1000% centralizing instantly. Because if you can't do that, you can't win. And this is always brutal, is since you have to land that like big special attack to win the game, if your big special attack is bad, there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You can chase it as far as you want, it don't matter. Ain't none of this matter, Fry Man. It's bad. Let's get to one of the fights. Oh, you know what? I was gonna say standing up takes forever. Everything takes forever. Knockdowns are measured in seconds, not frames. Uh, so many infinites. More than you can count. Like everything you do is an infinite in this game. Is part of it. Like you knock someone down, you choke them, and then before they recover, you choke them, and then before they recover, you choke them, and then before they recover, you choke them. Or you hit them, knock them down, wait for them to stand up, hit them meaty, knock them down, wait for them to stand up, hit them meaty, like so on and so forth until you get your charge, and then you wait for them to stand up and you hit them meaty, you hit them the first frame they stand up, you get them as meaty as possible. And you do that a million thousand bazillion times. I don't know. I think wrestling, trying to make games based on grappling is just always really awkward because grappling's like a lot of very complicated fine control that you can't really get across super good via controller stuff. 2D fighters are pretty cool. I think we should just, if you want to make a 2D fighter about like wrestling and grappling, make a new Canuckaman Muscle Grand Prix. Do another one of those. Those games are fucking cool. Do another one of those. Hit me with that ultimate muscle shit. Almost every match defaults into one knockdown, choke, 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 finishing move times 3. And that's it. That you want to, hey kid, you want to learn how to play Beast Wrestler? It's this. You do this. Yeah, the monster designs are kind of slick. Yeah, I'll say the translation sucks in a charming way. I think it's very good in that way. The way they say combined Tau monsters, things like that. It also shows me that people probably didn't get very far in this game when they were testing it, or else they might have caught that. Who could say? Uh-huh. And now you stand back and you wait for the monster to stand up, and then you hit it with a meaty. And then you back up, and then you wait for it to stand up for a literal 3-second period. And then you hit it with a meaty, and now you have your charge. Oh. Get him knocked down. There's the meaty. Mm-hmm. Or more likely, just no one ever double checked anything. Yeah. Tau monsters. Because that's something that's just like purely a typo, right? That's not like a translation error. That's just you fucked up when you were putting in the letters. There's no amount of the translator's fault. That is just time. That is, no one had the time to check this shit over. Yeah, and then you wiggle at him, then you knock him down, and then you wait. Great. Great. The monster fusion mechanic is the most wasted potential. You pick one of 2 monsters and get a slightly different looking guy with identical everything else. Really boring. Really boring on that front of, you know, people love fusing monsters. People will let so much slide if they can combine 2 little guys into a third relevantly combined guy. They will let so much slide that they should not. I've seen people games that were ass, like indefensibly ass, but they let you combine two little guys to make a third guy with a system that wasn't very good or very deep, but it like let you combine them into a third guy in a way that you could reasonably like trace back what guys they came from. And this didn't have that. This had pick a guy, here's two guys, you get to pick one of the two of them. It's not the same. Yeah, brutal. Yeah, Infinite Fusions was a great time. So yeah, that's Beast Wrestler. This game's so boring, man. Got voted off the wheel largely because after we did the first major circuit, and then we started the second circuit and saw it was going to be the exact same thing again. And everyone was like, okay, we're good on watching you walk a guy down and choke him for 30 more minutes. Oh yeah, what password did they get? Oh yeah, the passwords in this are really good. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because you have to do like stat changes and also like how much money you've spent, things of that nature. I can believe it. I can believe this being enough of a password. This isn't even like top 10 worst passwords we had. All right. Did we do? I don't think so. And we'll check the other way. No. Okay, great. This is a game I'd love to talk about. So we will. Speaking of beasts on the Genesis. No, not Bell's Quest, you wieners. Give me the one that sucks. Give me the incredibly hard one made by assholes. I hate this game, bro. I don't hate a lot. I hate this game. I truly hate this game. This shit is detestable. This is Beauty and... Oh, sorry, the Beast is capitalized. It's a title. Roar of the Beast on the Sega Genesis. Worst bits. Why is this shit so hard? What the fuck were they cooking? This game is so hard. This game is so hard. Oh man. Okay, 99% of your toolkit is awful. Really awkward. Attacks, jump, pounce stuff that's just no good and real inconsistent. Or the one good jab that does piddly damage but is out in one frame and back in two. That's really the kicker here, is the only one part of your kit is worth using because everything else is so impossibly far behind. Yeah, and there it is. There's the jab right away. Why would you use any other move? If you have like a Bruce Lee bullet punch, what's your point of all the rest of them? Yeah, there goes the long player trying to use another attack, taking a hit. Oh man. Yeah, stuff is constantly spawning to hit you from all angles. You don't move particularly well and cannot block. Everything starts off doing 1/2 a point of damage, rapidly becomes 1 becomes 2. The speed at which the game went from you have 4 frying pans. They're supposed to be mirrors. They just look like cast iron frying pans to me. I'm sorry. They look like a goddamn skillet. The game goes from you have, 8 hits with your 4 mirrors to you have 2 hits with your 4 mirrors in really short order. Really, really short order. Pickups are few and far in between. Every level is, that's not fair. Every early level is walk to the right and don't die challenge. Somewhat possible. It's like somewhat possible that you won't get murdered. Minigame for extra continues is horrendous. They make you do like a sliding block puzzle, I think it is, in like almost no time. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if the long player cheated enough to finish it. Oh, they might do it. Barely. One continue. Solve a puzzle at high speed. Oh yeah, music is really rough for a Disney property. Disney's got I don't gotta give it up for a lot of what Disney has, but what Disney does have indisputably is music, right? Like that's their bread and fucking butter. That's the thing they did that made Frozen stick around and be relevant for 1 gorillion years. Oh yeah, final level has a boss fight that is no good, followed by a surprise touch the nuggies at incredibly high speed. You have no joke like 5-10 seconds to spare if you path it perfect. The ending is so mean. The ending is so mean because it just throws you into a random castle stage and says, touch all your fellas. Here, I'll just skip to it. Yeah. Well done, Beast. You punched Gaston to death. Yeah, it just like kind of squirts you out in the opening sequence and is like, Beast, you gotta touch all your fellas or else they'll not know what's going on. God, right, because it's damage over time. God, yeah, and they're down to their last health pip. Okay, yeah, you know what? You're right. You have like 2 seconds to spare. It's like 2. I was thinking I was being ridiculous by saying 5 to 10. Nah, that shit was like 2. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy work. 10. Holy smokes, that's so tight. Why did they do that? It goes to show you how, like, nostalgia and thinking back on stuff, you just get softer on it with time. Wow. Crazy, man. That one sucked. Villager levels take away your 1 good jab and ask you to grind terrible little arenas where you have to bonk guys to the side. And it was like just 5 or 6 repetitions of the same arena back to back. You could either attack them with a very slow standing swipe that would like punch them forward or punch them backwards, or like a crouch like jab thing you had that was even slower but at least punch them forward. And it really did devolve into find the spot where I can attack someone to throw them directly off the arena, but then I still have enough time to turn around, react, and slap the guy coming from the other side backwards so that I can then turn around and hit both of them back. So it was mostly just standing in one spot and pressing the attack button, turning around, pressing the attack button, turning around again, pressing the attack button twice, turning around again, pressing it once, turning it around again, pressing it twice, and just kind of like rinse and repeat that. And it would even go, "Well done, beast," between each arena, but it didn't mean that because you would then just go to another identical arena. They were identical. Like, that's the other, it was identical. It was just the same room, but like, do it again. That made me think I was going nuts for a little bit. Let's skip to that in this playthrough here. So you're just hanging out gently. Yep, and the long player concurs with me on this is the only correct and reasonable way to do this segment. Stand in one spot, turn around, slap him, turn around to slap him backwards, then wait for him to run in, hit them both, walk forward a little bit, repeat, and you do it again. Well done, beast! And then you go to the same thing. I guess there's tile on the floor this time, so that's cool. And then you do that again. And then it says, "Well done, beast." And then you do it again. And then it says, "Well done, beast." Oh, and then you have to do another, then it's a bonus stage. Okay, so I guess it's only 4. I guess it's 4. 4 reps of the arena. Oh man. Yeah, rough stuff there. Platforming also pretty bad. Some windy sections that are brutal, considering you already feel pretty bad. It really adds just another element of the game already feels rough, so having the wind pushing you around, even worse. And yo, thank you for the reset, Johnny Z. Yeah, I gotta highlight, it's so hard. It's so hard. This game is so punishing. It's crazy. Like, if someone posted themselves, like, legitimately with a webcam, hand cam, everything, going through this game for the first time, I would be fascinated to see how long it takes. Because, like, even with save stating and all that, like save stating just at the beginning of stages so that I'd get, like, reasonable continues, it was a grind, dude. This game is such a mess. It's so hard. Boss fights suck. I think that's worth highlighting. The boss fights are really bad in this. They don't stand out in difficulty as much as the rest of the game does. But they still are so bad. It's usually just like, find the one position you can punch a guy safely, wait for him to go there, punch him, wait for 30 seconds until he goes back to that spot, punch him an additional time. Like, since this game has such a small life total versus how much they expect you to do with it, you're almost universally in a state of like just really, really trying to protect your life bar. It's not dissimilar to like the way you have to treat your health bar when you play like Spelunky, for example, where it's like, yeah, I only have 3 hearts and I gotta make a hell of a lot of distance on them. Similar thing, but like whereas Spelunky is like very clever in how it's done, and there's like a lot of interesting mechanics you can play with, and you know, different this, that, and the other. This game just sucks, man. This game sucks, and it feels really, really bad. The big sprite really isn't like the big problem though. The problem is just how mean this game is on like the amount of health it gives you, what tools it gives you, what kind of stuff it attacks you with. Like there's parts of the game like this one on screen right now where they were like showering you with arrows down at an angle. And like that's crazy. That's Akuma. That's Akuma fireballs. And they were just doing them. Just doing like 100 Akuma fireballs from a guy off screen. Can you imagine? Can you imagine you're playing another platforming game and all of a sudden you just hear Akuma and you see like 3 downward angled fireballs from off screen? You'd shit your pants. You'd be like, oh no, Akuma's here to ruin my day. All of a sudden though, when it's like a couple random archers off screen, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, how'd Akuma get in here? What the heck? And this game just does it. This game's just like, yeah man, good luck. Have fun. All right, let me grab another game. Oh, this one should be really quick. So this one will be perfect. I wanted to get some of the ones we could just knock out pretty fast here. Which is part of why I was like, Ford Racing 3. Here, let me get this over here. Oh man, Austin Powers Pinball. This was just, it's like it's just really bad pinball, man. Deeply juiceless tables, almost no fun routes. Bonuses feel very flaccid. The kind of pinball board you'd expect to see in a museum about the first pinball tables ever made. Like, dude, it's boring. These tables had no sauce. Deeply sauceless tables. Oh, we touched this game like 14, 15 times. We did a few laps of both tables and got like reasonably high scores. And then I just asked chat point blank, like, do we want to like try to get a better score or like move on with our lives? And everybody pretty much, I think it was like, I think that was another one of the votes where it was like 95-5, and then after people saw it was 95-5, they then reverse engineered to make it 69-31. One of those where people had such high confidence it was going to get blasted that they just said fuck it. I think like with pinball there is an element of you can beat it if you like fully enable like wizard mode and stuff. In particular, like Demon's Tilt, for example, you get a series of missions on all 3 layers of the table. And when you do complete all 3 of those sets of missions, it like sets off a super mode where, you know, there's like 10 balls flying around the table and it's like putting more in repeatedly as you're going. And like every bonus is lit up at the same time. There's usually like a grand finale condition you can hit. Even in a game like for physical tables like Medieval Madness, Medieval Madness has a series of castles you like blow up and they start taking more and more hits, and at some point there is like a final castle you beat that takes like a ton of hits and is worth the most points of all of them. That kind of thing. Yeah, exactly what Valley Claire put. Yeah, usually like beating a table or like the closest thing to it that exists is like activating its cool super mode thing. And then obviously when you are past that and you're reaching the upper echelons of being wild as hell at pinball, it starts becoming more about like score attack and also like consistency in score attacks for like tournament settings and stuff, which I don't know a ton about tournament pinball other than every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, these people are good at pinball. Which like, yeah, that's why they're there. That's what they do. Yeah, so the objectives in this game were really unclear. It would be a lot of, you know, hit the lane to do a thing, but it wouldn't be obvious which lane they were indicating to. Or like an arrow would be pointed to a thing and blinking, and then you would go through the thing it was pointing to and just nothing would happen. And I was like, did I not do it right? Was that not what I was supposed to do? And it's really, really hard to figure out what they want you to do, which is kind of impressive given how little there is on each of these tables. Like, these are tables that have, like, I don't know what the technical term is for them, but like 5 or 6 features total, right? Like, they've got the little launch into the 3 pins you go through, a couple of pop bumpers, like 2 rails around the outside, and then like a couple of those little like stand-up target things that are like little teeth you knock down, and like 2 chutes to go in, and that's it. Like, it's a really, really basic pinball table. And yeah, just like nowhere near enough clips. Like, the whole thing about making a branded pinball table, to me at least, is you do have to hit the high notes of the property, right? Like, the Flintstones pinball table, he goes yabba dabba doo, you know? Like, you hit a big point, he goes yabba dabba doo, and you go, fuck yeah, I'm great at Flintstone, baby. And yeah, there's like not that much Austin Powersy going along with it. Like, even in the table design, right? Like, there's something to be said about a pinball table having a grand physical characteristic to it. Like, Medieval Madness, the one I was mentioning earlier, is a fantastic example. It has a literal castle in the back of the table that as you hit it, it like shakes and breaks apart and rumbles and like lights up and is like, oh no, the castle! Like, it's cool as hell. And it's got like a guy announcing along with it, being like, don't fuck up my castle, brother! And it's just like falling out. It's so good. And because of that, it's like hugely iconic. Even fucking Black Knight, right? Like, a lot of people remember now the music of Black Knight as being very iconic, but the Black Knight had 2 other things about it that were super iconic, which was it was a 2-layer table, like very distinct 2 layers, which I think was starting to become more common, but like wasn't all over the place. And then also it had a like spinning plate underneath it with like a little bit of magnets attached, I believe, something along those lines. So you'd have this like spinning plate that would like fling your ball in really bizarre ways. There was another pinball table that had a pair of talking heads, like literal mannequin heads, that would be like turning and talking to each other and doing comedy bits while you were playing pinball. There's so much going on. Yeah, Roadshow, exactly. And so to have none of that, to have no defining characteristics other than we printed a picture of Mike Myers winking on it, feels really lazy to me, you know? And from the video game pinball side, maybe even more so, right? Because there's this understanding with video game pinball that the missions and stuff is going to be like pretty integral to how it works. Like Pokemon Pinball has a whole system in place, right? For you to be able to like catch guys. It's like a whole thing. Yeah, oh man, Demon's Tilt is such a good looking game. Actually, yeah, let's show some Demon's Tilt real quick. Resisting the urge to bring up my own playthrough of me setting a pretty great score. Also, you want to talk about a game with some hot sounds in it. Demon's Tilt, dude. It's like so much more complete. There's so many more things going on. The visuals are sick. Oh man. There's like multiple layers of enemies you unlock. Like as you blow up the guy on the bottom, he respawns as like a new guy with different patterns in his attacks. The priestess in the middle slowly like blows up and becomes like a demonic robot thing. You unleash the mask off the lion at the top and it starts roaring and becoming a chimera. It's like, God. There's enemies shooting at you and you can like try to clear the bullets or like get through them. There's so much going on and it's so much fun. There's like all sorts of different things you can aim for. The tilt function feels really good to use. And also, you'll notice in the bottom left corner here, there's that little like skull hanging in a square chamber. So that skull reacts to you tilting. Like it's an actual tilt bobber like they used to work. Because remember, the point of tilt originally was pinball before it had flippers was just like purely a gambling thing, right? Like you put a ball in the top, it went somewhere on the bottom and you got a prize. That's all it was. So the idea of tilting was someone would put in the money to get the ball to come down, see it was going to the wrong prize. They would pick up the bottom of the table, kind of like wiggle it around to get the ball to go where they wanted it to. Sick. So like people were cheating at gambling. So we need to uncheat them at gambling. So what you do is you put a little bobber in there that's just a little conductive metal object floating by a chain in the middle of a box, and you have it so that it completes a circuit if it touches any sides of the wall. If it ever like swings too far and touches one of the edges, it closes a circuit. It says they've tilted, drain the ball, stop the flippers, stop everything. Like, you know, that kind of thing. Set off an alarm perhaps. What this game does is that turns that into a like implicit game mechanic where the direction you bump the table is pretty one-to-one with the direction that the little guy goes. So there's times where you need to tilt a lot real quick in rapid succession, but you have to like time it so that the bobber doesn't go too hard and drain you out. Oh yeah, this game wants you to tilt. This game wants you to tilt like a motherfucker. Also, this game has like a combo system like Devil May Cry. So like, that's pretty hot. I love getting a smoking sexy style when I play pinball. Yeah, they don't call it Demons Don't Tilt. It's called Demons Tilt. They want you to do it. You also can just like learn so much about how the patterns of this table works. You learn how to set up different teleports to go to the top of the table to finish a thing you need to do. You learn how to like navigate around different things. God, it feels so good. This game is so good. If you haven't played Demon's Tilt and you like digital pinball even a little bit, do yourself a favor and at the very least put this shit on a wish list so that when it goes on sale for like $5 and you have COVID, you can have one less day of having COVID by virtue of time warping with Demon's Tilt. This game's awesome, man. I really love Demon's Tilt. I put so much time in this game. Well, anyway, so that's really all I have to say about Austin Powers Pinball. It's just a really deeply juiceless pinball table. Nothing worth doing. Like, one of those games that I don't think it's even worth playing for the bit, because they don't reference enough Austin Powers for you to do the bit. Like, there's not enough Austin Powers in it for you to do an Austin Powers bit with it, and there's not enough good pinball in it to make you want to do, pinball in it. Yeah, Xenotilt is also quite good. Yeah, big fan. All right, let me grab another game off the list here. Hey, clown face. Hey, clown face. Let me get a little bit of that on screen, and let me get a little bit of music that is not that music. Way better. Okay. The Crow. Oh, The Crow. The Crow so quickly went from a game that I thought was so funny to a game I was so tired of seeing. Oof. So, where do you start with The Crow? Obvious stuff. Tank controls are pretty wild. Fighting controls are maybe worse. Another case of needing to hold a button and a direction to attack. Ooh, so stiff. So stiff. Every time you attack, your character, like, firmly plants his feet on the ground, throws a single punch, waits for the punch to come all the way back, puts his hands back in his pockets, and then can walk. It's rough. What else is really worth noting? Guns are outlandishly dangerous in context. There will be a random guy across the room off camera who finds a pistol, and your day is ruined. Like, it is really, really rough, because if a guy finds a pistol, it interrupts everything you're doing, knocks you on the ground, and does like 30% of your life bar. It's crazy. Like, it's one of those things where you can say, like, well, yeah, guns are actually like that, and it's like, well, not in the fucking Crow they aren't. Not in the, like, even if we're gonna do the pedantic, like, guns are like that, no, not in this fiction they fucking ain't. Nah, they ain't not. Yeah, also, yeah, guns are quite good for the player. Yeah, they love to self-destruct. If you put a gun down for a single frame, it pops like a balloon, and that's it. Yeah. Fighting the same enemy 1,000 times. The final boss is the exact same as Mook #1, but with 20 times the life bar and an infinite ammo rocket launcher. Like, it's the same guy. It's the same guy again. You get locked into combat mode. If anyone is remotely near you, rendering your movement even worse. This really is made more dramatic by if someone has a gun nearby, because moving around a little goofy is annoying when there's a bunch of guys trying to punch you. It's disastrous if there's a guy on the other side of the room with a rocket launcher who's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you now, and you're still stuck in like shuffle mode. Giraffe head mode is funny. I'll give him that. I think having a mode where your neck gets real long instead of your head getting real big is very funny. Bird.mp2 cracks me up. I think it's funny when it goes, Caw! and that's like a noise they use. There was a part where I had to like shimmy across a gap. It wasn't really particularly notable though. Very slow game. Funny voice lines. I think I'll remember, hey, clown face, for a really, really long time. Yeah, it was like really annoying. I remember because it was you had to go across a wire and you had to shimmy back and forth to like avoid a nearly invisible electric charge. It's just like that is such a small moment in so much of this game. It is bad. I think I'd leave that as a, exercise for the reader to find. The combat's just so bad. Really slow, grindy game where nothing happens and nothing is threatening until a random guy walks up off screen with a rocket and kills you instantly. And that's really a big part of it, is this game is so nothing. And there's like no threats anywhere until fucking Johnny walks in and just pulls a rocket launcher out of his butt and points it at me and fires, and I die instantly. So it was like a game that made you be on edge the entire runtime, because God forbid some chucklehead walks in and just lights you up, right? Yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say about this game. Just like a really slow, sluggish beat 'em up with really bad controls. Pretty notable, pretty notably bad, I think. It was definitely one of them that I ended up disliking a lot more than I thought I would. Mostly just because of how grindy it was. How it really was just the same thing over and over and over and over. Oh, you know what? This one's probably good. We should talk about this one, because I have a funny thing to admit about this one. I have like a minor apology. Kind of. Not really. I don't feel bad about it, to be clear. It's like a thing that I did that I didn't realize I did until like a few weeks later. And some like 2 people mentioned it in chat ever, and I was like, that probably means it's okay that I accidentally took Danger Girl off of the wheel at some point and didn't realize it until like 3 or 4 sessions later, where somebody mentioned, hey, what happened to Danger Girl? Did you finish it, or did it get taken off the wheel? And I went, what? And I went and checked, and it in fact was not on the wheel. The thing is, I kind of just decided, fuck it, because it was the only game that I did this for, just to get that out of the way. You don't have to worry. There were no other ones. It was just this game. It was literally just Danger Girl. we were at such an incredibly boring part of the game of me having to go through and, you know, quote unquote stealthily shoot guys before they realize I'm there and kill the hostages off screen. Because that's the part we were at, was walk into a room, instantly know which guys you have to shoot in what order so that they don't turn and instantly cap the hostage. They did it so fast, dude. They would just turn and just be like, pop, and that guy was gone instantly. Oh man, worst bits, really boring, 3D, like, third person shooter spy thing. Oh man, guns feel pretty awful. Progression is pretty unclear. Dialogue is really bad. I think every single hit of dialogue was rough as hell. Tank controls in a pretty rough way. God, I'm trying to think, like, what else was even worth mentioning about this game? Because this really was the peak forgettable. Because again, literally 2 people mentioned it the entire marathon. And when they did, God bless them, they mentioned it once in chat. They were just like, hey, did Danger Girl get finished or what? And then no one in chat responded to them at all. It was like an accidental team gaslight that I was just kind of like quietly giving an evil thumbs up to and just being like, yeah, let's just collectively pretend Danger Girl was never here. Yeah, it was crazy. Stealth segments are miserable. Save the hostages, but the hostages get exploded really fast when you walk in the room. Jumps feel very bad. Confusing progression in the jungle stages. Music is mid. Apparently is based on a comic book. I bet it sucks too. Like, I bet it also is bad. It was just so nothing. Because I'm trying to think, like, what was positive about it? Because, like, the gunplay felt really bad. Walking around the maps felt really bad. The maps themselves were really bad. I guess cutscenes were like a little funny. Yeah, the guy who said, ew, a gun. About all I got. The unclear progression is really what brutalized this game. I think is the other thing. We had killed every enemy on the map and we couldn't figure out where we needed to walk to. And it turns out it was just like a random generator on the side of one of the buildings. Not indicated by anything. Just figure it out. Oh yeah. I'm gonna say I put those in the negative. I think if I'm willing to give it up where there are some pretty cool designs like Beast Wrestler and perhaps High Seas Havoc, I should also note when the character designs are, in my opinion, particularly bad. And I think Danger Girl may be the Oh yeah, terrible menus. It's like not even hourglass ladies is the thing. Like that, I don't know. It's weird. It's just like not a good look. It's not a good look. It's like, you know how that one guy who drew like Venom and the Punisher and stuff, like couldn't do legs or feet right? So like you'd have these big, huge, muscly guys, and then their foot was just like a long oval with like a stick coming out of it. Yeah, like Rob Liefeld. Imagine if you made the whole character out of Rob Liefeld leg and feet. That's how I feel about Danger Girl. It's a full Liefeld calf converted into a woman. And I don't think I like that. Hate the description. Yeah, I hate looking at it, so that adds up. Oh man, yeah, really, really bad designs. Rough stuff, rough stuff. All right. And now that I've revealed the Joker's trick of the one game we did not complete and it just kind of vanished, let's talk about a game that we all voted for to get out of here for sake of being too bamboozling. Find a long play of... Oh shit, is this the Check Me Out channel? Hell yeah, dude. The Fifth Element, worst bits, level design, absolute bottoming out here. This might be the worst level design we had of any game. I think it was like the second or third level was immediately a case of we put you in an office building with two identical wings, each of which has 100 computers in it. You need to find the one computer that you touch that opens a laser gate on the other side of the map. Yeah. I mean, this is like a 3D exploration. It was like, it's different than a 2D platformer level design. This is just labyrinth, in the worst way imaginable. Oh. I think that's a big part of it is which one do you want to like where do you need to go? And the answer was always, I don't know, somewhere else. Gunplay and hand-to-hand combat are both very bad. Ruby Rod not used to potential, which is to say, Ruby Rod not used enough. Not used at all in a meaningful fashion. Bad platforming, bad mission design, bad stage design. Real wander around until you hit a switch, then wander more type gameplay. That's really all this shit was. And yeah, it doesn't embrace the weirdness of the source material. It takes like some really strange, wild stuff and turns it into a really, really boring adventure game. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention tank controls. And damage just kind of happens is another thing that's really brutal here. There were times I was getting shot like by that guy over the fence, and I didn't notice at all other than my life bar was rapidly draining. There was like no damage noise, no damage indicator. Bruce Willis didn't go, "Ah, dang it, I'm getting shot. It's me. I'm being shot right now." Yeah, and this game ended up getting voted off for just being, yeah, yeah, the final straw on this game really was the fact that it was impossible to put this game down and then pick it back up and be able to tell where in the world I was supposed to be. Really, really wild on that front. You would just be in a hallway and every direction was equally valid and looked identical. So it was like legitimately a case of what I had started to do was intentionally making sure before I swapped off the game, I would turn and face in the direction that I thought progress was and then save state, so that I knew when I loaded up, I was at least pointed in the direction that I thought was progress. That wasn't enough. that was not enough. Still ended up getting turned around, still ended up getting lost. And it was partially because there was no rhyme or reason to the directions they wanted you to go, right? Like it really was just kind of guess what direction I'm thinking of so often. Yeah, the game has, like almost no relation to the movie, which was unfortunately pretty common at the time. Did we talk about... We did not. Okay, great. Let me make sure real quick. Okay, awesome. Let's talk about Robocop 3. Robocop the third. Robocop 3 for the Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo Chalmers. Sorry, everybody votes channels. First things first, this game was the attrition game. There were a lot of games that were attrition games. This was the attrition game. Every step of the game was not only trying to micromanage your health, you were trying to micromanage your ammo. You had to figure out what kind of bullets to use in each location. You had to figure out how much damage you could realistically avoid versus how much you could not avoid, and try to get between every area using the minimum amount of resources possible. Regrettably, later on, those resources include time. You move so bad in this game. You move so slow. There's no way to modify your speed either. Like, you have one speed, moving and not, and boy howdy, it is not fast enough. Jumps have insane startup and recovery. You have so much landing lag, as Smash Bros. Players would say, from just jumping, not even from like doing an action in the air. Normally it's like you jump in the air, you punch, and then you have a certain amount of like landing lag in exchange for punching. This game is, you get a huge amount of landing recovery for the crime of you jumped. Which doesn't feel the best. Oh man, endless waves of guys flying in. You can duck some shots, but if you duck too much or just sometimes, guys will crouch. Those are just unavoidable damage. Shmup sections are awful. So much stuff. The shmup sections are so bad. Very slow, very long. Oh god, right, yeah, you can, yup. You can shoot and destroy power-ups. That is definitely worth mentioning. Yeah, if you shoot a power-up, it just explodes instantly, which is really, really rough. Any contact damage is per frame. This means a rat touching your leg often does 80% plus of your entire fucking life bar. It is crazy how much damage you take from contact. Like anything touching you. There were bikes that would drive past that were incredibly hard to jump over, and even when you knew they were coming, you were up on a box and you were like posted up ready to jump over them. You would land in like the back like couple pixels of the bike, and that was enough to do like half of your life bar on the spot. It was crazy, man. Also, later stages are mazes that you don't have enough time to fully explore, also not enough life, also not enough ammo. Yo, Matthew, thank you for the resub. Thank you for the big 52. Thank you. Fall damage is crazy. Fall damage gets so high. I'm trying to think what else is really like worth mentioning. Because I really do think that the biggest thing was just how agonizingly attrition focused this game was. Like, you were just getting absolutely brutalized. Oh yeah, can't aim up when guys are above you. I think that about covers it as far as like the big bits. Oh, no checkpoints. Yeah, that's also worth mentioning in the attrition. Yeah, no checkpoints. That's a good point. The fact that you had to instantly start was like so brutal. So brutal. Yeah, we mentioned that, yeah, the guys that crouch are just unavoidable damage. Oh, and you know what? I'll say it. This is small. I think the walk sound started to get really fucking grating by the end of the game. I got really tired of hearing my guy go thump, 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 thump. Well, you can aim up a little bit, but you can't aim up that much, is the thing. You can't aim straight up, which is even worse. So to aim straight up, you need to have a 3-way spread gun and then aim up forward, and one of them goes up. It's really dumb. Enemies love to run in and dead zone you. Also, enemies are just the same guy at an unbelievable number of times. Yeah. It really is just the same fucking guy over and over and over. No, this is gonna be one of those games that gets nothing on the good side. I legitimately think there was like nothing of value here. The music's not particularly good. The sprite work isn't particularly good. The gameplay isn't fun. The boss designs are really bad and also have no animation. Yeah, I gotta give this game there is no good bits mentioned. There really isn't. Yeah, man. I got nothing kind to say about this. Yeah, like, I can't in good conscience, and this is me checking a document real quick, I cannot in good conscience, much in the same way I can't say a game being short is like a good thing, I can't say a game having elements that like terribly clash with the art style and don't match at all. While it is funny, that's not like a thing I give them, because it's often not intentional, first of all, because it's like just because they did a bad job. And I don't like to really highlight they did a bad job as like a positive, much in the same way like the game being short as a good thing, that's not fair. That means the rest of my life is good, because it means that the good part is that I stop playing the game and get to live the rest of my life. So that's credit to the rest of my life, not the game. Same thing here. They do it. Game doesn't crash? Speak for yourself. I bet it fucking does. I bet it would. God. All right, let's talk about a real banger here. Let's talk about a real banger that I have an unbelievably large amount of history with. A game that I like. I think it might be the game that personally pisses me off the most to play. It is Super Godzilla. Man, what a crock of shit what a crock of shit. What a crock of shit, man. Worst bits. Where do you fucking start with Super Godzilla? Yeah, I mean, gameplay designed by morons. Sorry. That's really all. They did so bad, man. They did so fucking bad. Like, the gameplay's so bad. You hold a direction, to buffer a movement of one input and wait for 7 seconds for it to resolve. This is 90% of the gameplay. This is legitimately, that is 90% of this fucking game, is you hold a direction on the D-pad and see a little dot on a mini-map slowly go through a map, while a very bad video of Godzilla shows up on the top. It's this. This is what people like about Godzilla, right? This is what people like about Godzilla? Yeah, also you're not supposed to destroy buildings, yeah. Also, destroying buildings is bad. The goal is to make Godzilla interact with as few things as possible. Yeah, your whole goal for everything but the fight portions is to have Godzilla interact with as few things as possible. Like you were trying to get a clean line from you to the goal with nothing in the way. If you can avoid a fight, perfect. If you can avoid a recharge station, perfect. If you can avoid a building which slows you down, perfect. If you can avoid going through the water which slows you down, perfect. That's it. That's the core conceit of the game is Godzilla doesn't go on a rampage, which is like, even the most core, like, peanut monkey brain appreciation of Godzilla gets left in the dust here. Even the people who are doing wow cool robot about Godzilla aren't getting treats. They aren't getting a cool robot. Yeah, it's really rough. Fights are horrible. Pure RNG. And exactly enough flashing bits and bobs on screen that a casual observer might convince themselves there is some form of order or reason the streamer should be following. There isn't. It's really annoying when after completing this game 7+ times, including a highly edited LP, people will walk in and be like, no, I think I'm the person who will understand Super Godzilla. Man, that element really sucks nuts. I think that one doesn't get talked out of a lot. The combat system is a bunch of bars going back and forth and randomly wiggling around. The idea is you're supposed to get close to the opponent, punch them, and then back up, and as you back up, it goes through a roulette wheel of options, and then you need to press a button to lock into whatever option has shown up. This already sucks, but then from like the third level on, between 1 and 3 of the options on that roulette wheel not only do not work, they will actively deal damage to you if you try to use them. There is a boss that's like, yeah, if you use the little laser beam, it just sucks it off and then fires it back at you. But if you use the big laser beam, that one does work. It's nuts, man. And they really don't give you anything else to work with. One of the things on the roulette wheel is just a question mark of just guess what number I'm thinking of. Oh man. Like, I think that's a big part of it is it is the equivalent of if you have ever played a Street Fighter game where Zangief has a frame 0 after the Flash Super, we call them frame zeros, which what that means is if you weren't already escaping him before the screen freeze, like before it cut to him being like, my loyal fans, and like pointing his fingers in the air, if you haven't already jumped before that happened, you're getting grabbed. It feels so fucking bad to get hit by. It's one of those things that like, as a fighting game player, it's a moment of you just rolling your eyes into the back of your head and being like, oh my God. This is a game that does that nonstop at all ranges from every character. You will be full screen, backing up, holding, getting ready to block, and then the enemy will just go, and you're in a cutscene being hit for, 100 damage or whatever. Could you have done anything about this? No. There is ostensibly a block. You do it by holding straight down. It kills your meter and locks you out of every move that works in later stages. This is the other thing. If you hold down to block, first of all, it doesn't really do that much for you. It keeps your opponent from launching one of those big attacks, but they can just wait until the exact frame you stop holding down and just do it. And there's not like a thing you can react to, right? If there was a tell that happened 22 to 23 frames earlier and you could react to that and hold down, sick. That's a game. That's a game now. As opposed to what this game does, which is just you get shot. That's it. I don't applaud what they tried to do. I think what they tried to do sucked. I think it was stupid, and I think it was a bad idea. I think if they had looked at any other video game, they would have very quickly realized this shit sucks. Anyone who played Street Fighter 2 for 13 seconds would tell you, this sucks, don't do this. And yet, yeah, also, great point by 17 Gamus. Load times, constant, major, a threat. Yeah, there is a non-stop slew of load times in this game. You are waiting for tiny little loads here and there and here and there and here and there. Yeah, you're constantly waiting. There's all sorts of little black screens here and there, and it adds up so fast. Yeah, how do you do that with a cartridge? That's a great fucking question. Here's another thing that I'm not gonna note in the document, but I will tell you, because this is a fun little treat. So, the Super Nintendo and many consoles of the era actually would put out more lines than it needed to. There's some overscan portions that were just understood of these parts of your screen, that you're sending from the console will probably not actually show up on a CRT because of the way it bends and the way that certain pixels are just gonna fall off the edges more or less. It's the overscan zone where you don't put anything there because it probably won't show up. Most games correctly did nothing with the overscan, to the point that if you play most emulators, at least slightly older ones, nowadays we're getting the more system accurate, clock accurate, all that stuff, cycle accurate, they would just automatically cut off the overscan zone for you, because you don't need it. There shouldn't be anything there. Why would you want us to display that? It should just be some black pixels down there or something. Yeah, no, they put stuff there. They put stuff there. They put stuff there. If you try to record this game and you don't turn on the overscan, you're missing a handful of pixels, which does mean this game has a different aspect ratio from every other Super Nintendo game when it comes to the purposes of recording it. Super fun if you're doing a Let's Play. Yippee! Love to put things down there. Yippee! Oh man, the other thing I really gotta say, the music is so bad, man. They took some of the all-time greatest scoring work in film and turned it into this. I'm not a Godzilla super fan, I wouldn't say. I like Godzilla a lot. I like his movies. I think he stands for some cool stuff. I like how the initial Godzilla was very much a cultural reaction to a thing that was occurring. Like, Godzilla is a lot of things to a lot of people, much in the same way that, no, that's not fair, because I just like Godzilla. I'm not too keen on Superman, but like, Superman matters culturally a lot, right? Godzilla kind of falls into that same basket, and what a disrespect. What an absolute disrespect to the GOAT. Man. Oh. Godzilla deserved better. I'll say it, Godzilla still deserves better. We need a good Godzilla game already. Someone make a kaiju fighting game where you're not fucking slow. Make a kaiju game where you go at normal speed. Please. I get it. They're bigger than regular guys. They don't have to go slow. Oh man. Yeah, there is a kaiju Monster Rancher game. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh man. Oh. Listen to this. And like, do you know what the Super Nintendo could do? Do you know what the Super Nintendo, do you know what it could? Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? You could do such music, bro. The SNES had a wonderful sound available to it. Oh God. Yeah, I would play some music from Live Alive, but then Square Enix would send a pack of Alaskan race dogs to bite my nuts. Or whatever. I don't know. Whatever they do these days. Oh, really brutal what they did to Super Godzilla. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna add this to the side document. So I'm saying this out loud so you know it's in here. Random encounters with UFOs are beyond pointless and truly just add time. They do nothing else. Yeah. So it's also fun to mention in the Let's Play I did of this game, because I did a Let's Play of this game ages and ages ago, where the whole conceit of the Let's Play was I am going to try and do as much as I can to make Super Godzilla actually entertaining to watch, because I find it to be the most boring, slow, repetitive, agonizing thing the entire time. And one of the things I had to start doing immediately was cutting out over half of the runtime of the game. There are so many things cut out of that Let's Play. There are so many black screens that are cut out. There are so many little tiny loads. When I did the editing for episode 1 of that, I remember zooming out at the project bar. And so when you're editing, and like, I think it was Vegas Pro I was using at the time, you have like a couple bars of like, okay, this is where this video clip is running. And there'd be like a blue bar that's, you know, like so and so long. And then like a red bar underneath it for another clip, and so on and so forth. One of the bars was just dark gray. which was not an indicator color that it could be. It was just showing that all of the split points I had put, all of the straight lines of break this clip up here and here, there were so many splits that it just merged together into a singular gray bar. You just couldn't represent it any other way. Yeah, man, it's so much little editing to make that thing run anywhere near smooth. It's insane. Hundreds of cuts in just a handful of minutes, like brutal shit. Yeah, outrageous amounts of editing for that one. And it was that for that, and then for the soundtrack as well, because I also re-edited the entire soundtrack to be different sound effects entirely from the ground up. Yeah, that was a cool, cool series of videos. All right, let me grab one more here, because I do want to get through these eventually. It might take like 1 or 2 more sessions, and that's okay. Oh, you know what? We should get this one out of the way, because this is another one that I think falls into a very similar bag as Ford Racing 3. Let me get this up here. We got like no time with this. Yeah, and what we did get wasn't great. What we did get wasn't great. Let me get a long play here. Great. Thank you, classic gaming player. Thanks for playing this classic. That's like when you hear the Canadian national anthem. Yeah, see a lot of Ford Racing 3. This one runs even worse on average. Yeah, runs even worse on average. I'll say it. I don't love that it was built around what I find to be some tasteless stereotypes. While I do think it's okay to be a little bit mean to white people sometimes, I think it can be pretty counterproductive to specifically rail on like rednecks and things of that nature, because it's the working class poor is who you're making fun of with that. It's making fun of the working class poor in the South. And remember, you have more in common with a random poor person in the South than you do with the leaders of a country. Any time, any place. That kind of thing. It's classism, baby, and it's always punching down. Not great. Yeah, it's more classist. Exactly, it's a classist thing. Yeah. So like, I don't love that. That doesn't need to be there, you know? Like, even when I was like with a group of people who would like, you know, kind of call themselves rednecks and joke around about that stuff, there was still an element of some random kid who clearly had only come from Chicago came in and started saying shit like that. There was a little bit of a, hey man, shut the fuck up, you know? Yeah. Yeah, control's really bad. Days per frame. OST is real rough, butt rock stuff through a GBA. Not great. Mission structure, gameplay loop is nothing. Drive from point A to point B to point C to point A to point C to point D to point A, etc., 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 for roughly 250 loops, and then you win. Maybe. Like, that's what's so brutal about this is we did day 1, and then we did day 2, and then we did day 3, and then we did day 4, and it was upon the realization of us hitting day 5 and it was the same, we gave up. Aren't there races? No. Nope. The closest thing you get to a race is when you go to an area, a guy will say, I bet I can get there first, and you say yes or no. And then you never see him, and he's like never on the course at all. And you finish it, and at the end it either says you went faster than him or you didn't. And I don't consider that a race. I consider that a time trial that we compare notes at the end. Yeah, Game Boy Advance games seem to have a habit of doing one thing an infinite amount of times. So the Ghost of Thomas Jenkins, that was pretty explicitly a problem in the mid Game Boy Advance into, I would say, the early 3DS era. Portable games, and it's funny to see it here because it was really common with Japanese developed games, and I think the reasoning for that was the use case for a portable system in Japan in 99% of cases was someone on public transit going to or coming back from work, you know, that kind of thing, where it's something you're doing every day for 1 to 3 hours every single day, etc., etc. So like you really want that long-term play type stuff. So there's so much in the way of games that were unbelievably long, or had hey, you want a really fun example of one? Sedmol and I are playing Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. You should check out those streams if you haven't. They're incredible. First of all, the game's very funny. Second of all, Sedmol's very funny. Third of all, you are not gonna believe what we get away with cardboard boxes. They let me have a cardboard box that I put a siren on top and it goes woo 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 woo. But even in that game, which that was a PSP game, there are unlockable titles and like icons and badges and stuff. One of them, so Sedmol and I have been playing that game together for like almost 20 hours total now, probably like something like 19-20 hours. We're both very good at the game, and I think we ended at about like 3,300 of the camaraderie points, because you get like camaraderie points for playing with other people and having missions go well. So we have like 3,300 or so. The amount of camaraderie you need to get the final title unlock is 1 million. 1 million. It took us 20 hours to get like 3,000. A million is 1,000 thousands. I gotta highlight that. It's 1,000 thousands. We have 3 thousands. Oh man. I think some people figured out the optimal play pattern if you wanted to get that title. Because from what I understand, the camaraderie is split among the people you play with, so it's not like faster. If you play the mission that gives you the most heroism in the shortest amount of time, and you run it perfectly, it's something like 2 minutes or like 2 minutes and 20 seconds to run. And if you had a group that did that and ran that mission perfectly the entire time, you would need to play that single mission non-stop for 25 hours. So if you were like serial killer optimizing to get the 1 million camaraderie title, it would be 25 hours of the same optimal mission over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, it was a number that was made based on you like playing this game every day for like 2 years. General Yeti, you get 650 camaraderie points per mission on like the optimal best mission possible. The normal number you get is closer to somewhere between like 20 and 80. You usually get between like 20 and 80 camaraderie for getting like an A or an S rank on a mission. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, big mother truckers. I guess the other thing that's worth mentioning, the economics are not interesting and feel very dice rolly. The only real interaction you have is asking someone at the bar, refill station, etc., hey, what's the news? And they tell you one product that's in high demand in one location. You load up on that, go there, repeat. You might win. You have no way to influence what the other competitors are doing. It's so funny that they felt the need to put, what is it, gazillionaire? Like they were like, yeah, we can do a little bit of gazillionaire trading. We can do a little bit of resource stuff. Yeah, the only thing, what game were we talking about? That'd be Peace Walker if you wanted to get the final title. It's hilariously a bad idea. But yeah, they like tried to do a whole economics and like supply and demand thing, but it really does just boil down to talk to one person, ask them, hey, what are the haps? And they say, the people in Central City really want oranges. And then you buy 1 million oranges and drive to Central City and they go, thanks for the oranges. And then you talk to someone and they go, they need deer hides in the South. And you go, great. And then you buy as many deer hides as you can carry. And then you drive to the South and they go, thanks for the deer hide. And then you go to the bar and they say, hey, they need oranges in Central City. And that's it. That's the whole fucking game. That's it. That's the whole thing. And then there are upgrades. You know what? I should mention that. The upgrades are insanely expensive. So I think what's mentionable here and what's notable, and that's quite enough out of you truckers. I think the other thing that's like notable, where are you at, PSO? There we go. The upgrades were like ludicrously expensive, and also you could barely notice them. Like the only upgrade that had a notable immediate impact was have more room for oranges. And that's like it. Really one of those brutally just nothing goes on games. Yeah. They really shouldn't have. They really shouldn't have. I think is kind of the takeaway here. They really shouldn't have done this one. Speaking of another one they shouldn't have done, let me make sure that we I don't think we talked about it. Great, we have not. Let me get a playthrough of it. You know what? It's good that when I went to look up a long play of this, one of the first results is Matt McMuscle's Dragon Ball Z Taikatsu, the worst fighting game, to which, like, normally when I see somebody post, like, this is the worst fighting game, or like, these are the lamest super moves in fighting games, they're always wrong. This one? Nah, you're right, man. This shit stinks. This shit stinks. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z Taikatsu, man. The worst bits. This I think this might actually be the worst fighting game ever made. I have a hard time thinking of anything else that manages to beat it. Cause like Tongue of the Fat Man is also like really, really rough. This game, you can't even like play it versus someone else unless you get like a link cable and get someone else to buy it. And even then, yeah, like Pit Fighter SNES is all like that one's like barely even a game. This one came so much later, right? Like there's a lot of fighting games I can give a pass based on like, you know, Super Turbo hadn't come out yet. We hadn't locked on to what was like fun in games. Holy shit. What were they doing with this? This is just it. Oh man. Movement feels terrible. Moves are woefully imbalanced. Tons of incredibly fast moves with almost no recovery. Any special move takes an unreal amount of time to charge and then is not worth it. Physics feel so bad. Characters are almost identical other than frame data. Like every character has the exact same jab with the exception of Piccolo's is like way slower and Krillin's is like really fast. They're the same otherwise. That's like it. Otherwise they were the same. Who was top tier? Whoever I was playing. Is the like whoever I was playing, because like the computer couldn't do anything and there's no way to test against another player. So like it's probably Krillin because he was really fast. That's probably what it was. And the thing is, the specials are big cutscene attacks, really weak. Oh man. Man. I'm trying to like think of anything else to say. This was one of the first games off the wheel because it was so empty. So I think that's a big part of it is this game really had one mode of fight through a bunch of the exact same fights with characters that are all interchangeable and do that like 10 plus times to unlock every character, and then every character was the same. I think this probably only got like 30-45 minutes or something. It was like I played through the game twice with two different characters. We saw that it was basically the same and that the characters I unlocked were basically the same. And then we showcased through a handful of super modes for each character just to like show what their animations were, because there was no other value in this. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to have a couple of bad fighting games, especially because there's been a big uptick of people calling fighting games they play Kuso when I'm like That's not Kuso. That's not, shut up. That's not, like, it is Kuso. It is a shitty game, but it doesn't qualify as Kuso in the fighting game terminology. I wanted people to see what a really, really bad fighting game looks like. What a really a truly wretched game. A game that makes you go, damn, I wish I was playing Clay Fighters. Like, that level of holy shit, what a waste. Oh yeah. The good Android 18 poop missiles. That's it. That's all I got. It's kind of funny when Android 18 would like crouch over and be like, and have missiles come out of her butt and then hit you. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So like, it is worth mentioning that having every character be exactly the same is a pretty big failure on fighting games, and it's a big part of why a game that is in fact perfectly balanced at every stage of the game for every character would be like the most boring shit on the planet. Also having it be perfectly equal and perfectly fair ends up having way more of a win disparity than you would expect. The whole idea of like, the most balanced a game could possibly be is if you and I both have a button that says you win, and then there's a countdown and whoever presses the button first wins. That game is perfectly balanced. We both have the exact same tools to do the exact same thing, and whoever does it better wins. Man, that'd be fucking boring. Man, that'd be a boring fucking game, huh? That sure would be a fucking snoozer. And I think this game is like a lot of that. Every character is exactly the same. They're all trying to do their one thing. But on that front, even the things they're trying to do aren't particularly interesting or feel good. Like, I'm a Ryu player, man. You used to be able to go to badsoulguy.com and it would go here. You could do that for a while. I love playing the basic generic character. Ryu kicks ass. Soul kicks ass. But it's because you're using those very basic tools to do very cool things, right? Like, you're hitting a guy and then uppercutting him into the air and then shooting him with a Hadouken and then like dashing forward, getting another punch and then canceling that into another Shoryuken. Like, you're doing cool shit with basic tools, and this game lacks that entirely. I think the other thing I want to highlight before I move on from this, frame data is made by a spreadsheet. No human being who touched a fighting game looked this over. Dude, the frame data in this game was beyond baffling. You would block an attack and be stuck for so long. You would be stuck for so long blocking. Like, you would block like a tiny little crouch jab. Like, Krillin would be crouching in front of you and just go, stick his hand out. You'd block it, and he'd be stuck there for 45 frames. You'd just be like, ooh! Okay, I can act again. It was crazy! Outlandish periods of time, man. Yeah, times you were just plus as much as you needed on block. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. Alright, well, that takes us to 1,000 lines of notes of stuff on these games. Hey, if you aren't already following, please do. I'd appreciate it. I'm Ty. I stream a bunch. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some YouTube. A little bit of YouTube, isn't it? Saturday, I think I'm going to blast through some more Puzzles and Dragons Mario. I might check out some 2XKO at some point. Maybe we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, drop a follow. I play all sorts of games, play a bunch of retro stuff. we're going to be finishing these reviews here in probably the next session. I think we've gone through like 36 of the games or so. Yeah, let me find somebody to host y'all over to. Who is... Oh, you know what? Mitch Flower Power is live. I haven't rated that fella in a long time. I'm gonna do that. Thank you for hanging out. And yeah, hope to see y'all around tomorrow. And have a great night. Enjoy a bad video game on me. I'd appreciate it. Later, everybody.